Cool. So, do you want me to start? Do you want me to just say what I think, or do you want to go first?
You start. You start.
Okay. So we created the community debate thing, which was cool, and it's a great topic to talk about, whether or not life has meaning. I tend to believe that it's kind of not that it's irrelevant, but that it's unknowable. Because in order for us to know if there is any inherent purpose, we would have to be great enough to see that purpose. So it depends on what we mean by purpose. So if by purpose we simply mean people can decide what they want to do with their life, well, yeah, of course they can. Siegfried said that in the comments himself. He's like, yeah, I'm going to choose a purpose for my life, and I'm going to do that. That's existentialism. And in that, I'd say obviously there is purpose because anybody can choose that purpose, and it's a subjective question. But if we're asking for something deeper, if there's an objective meaning, my answer to that question would be that it's unknowable, because it's possible that there is. I don't know if you ever watched the show Rick and Morty. It's a fun show here in America that I watch, and one of the episodes, one of the characters has created an entirely fake universe. Well, it's a real universe, and there's all these little people in the universe, and their entire purpose, everything they do, they think their life is meaningful, but everything in their life, they are turning into power. They're creating power that runs the main guy's car. So the thing is, they don't know that their whole existence is to be a battery. They don't know, but they are. So if you asked any of them, what is your purpose? They would say, I don't know. I don't think I have any meaning. I don't think I have any purpose. Or maybe they'd say, my purpose is to know God, or whatever they might say. But what they don't know is that their purpose is actually to be a battery. And they have no way of knowing that because they are trapped within their own world. In the same way, we humans are stuck within our own world. If we were to become infinite, or if we were to go outside of our world, we might see, oh, hey, there's some thing that has created us which wants us to do a certain thing, that we have a purpose to this. We might find that out. But as of right now, we don't have the tools to know that because we are limited by our finite nature. So I'd be interested to know how you come to the conclusion that you can know that there is no purpose. How do you come to that?
Yeah, I mean, you cannot say. I mean, like you said, we are not infinite beings. Am I being audible? Hello, am I being audible?
Oh, I agree.
Okay. As you said, we are not infinite beings, so we can't be 100% sure. But you, first of all, I say the word purpose in the greater sense, like in the sense of universe or philosophical sense, not like we choose to do something. That's my purpose. That's like comes under our system, right? I'm choosing the word purpose in the universe point of view. So in that way, as you said, if you say you have a purpose, you think you have a purpose, you cannot say that also, right? Because you don't know that for sure, right?
Well, yeah, but I mean, you also can't say you don't have a purpose. Like the statement you're making is that there is no purpose. But it's very different than saying we don't know if there's a purpose or not.
Yeah, but we have to make the best call, right? With the information we have some information, and like you are going to gambling, you're going to play some game and going to place bets. You will make the best guess, right? I mean, we don't know everything, but we have to make the best guess. What I think is, it's more certainly that we don't have any purpose. I'm sure about to 90% or something like that. So we have to choose that. That's what is my take is, and I'll reason why I think that. Can you accept that? Because we can't be 100% sure. I can't be 100% sure, and you can also be 100% sure. We can take the most probable outcome, right? We can bet on only that, right? Am I making any sense?
I mean, yeah, I mean, I kind of get that, but what you're saying is because we don't know for sure, therefore we have to pick one. But we don't have to pick one. We could just as easily say we don't know for sure, and then you don't say there's no purpose. You don't say there is purpose. You say there might be purpose.
Yeah, still in theory there might be purpose. That has a very little chance. Okay, I mean, you're going to play a game, you have to place the bet now, right? I mean, you have to choose. Like, you don't know I mean, like for a lot of instance we have to take a decision, right? There is a president, he has to take a decision whether to do this with this country, or whether to go to war or not. I mean, if he is not sure that whether the war is going to be good to the country or bad to the country, but he has to make a decision, right? With the information he has, he has to take the most probable decision. I mean, he has to make a decision with the information he has, right? So with the information we have, I come to a conclusion somehow that mostly like 90 or 99%, like we don't have seem to have a purpose. There is no evidence, like God. Like, do you believe in God?
I actually have the exact same opinion of God, which is there might be a
Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
but I don't know, and I don't think that there's enough evidence to come to that conclusion. If it was to be shown
Okay.
with certainty that there was a God, then I would believe it.
Hmm.
But I don't think anyone's ever gotten close to that, and no one has
Hmm.
also gotten close to saying there's no God. So I have the same position on both of them. It's that for the moment, based on what humans know, I don't think we have enough.
Okay, so right now I'm asking. I mean, like I'm asking you, do you believe in God or not? Say I know that whether God exists or not. Now you have to take a decision. I mean, if you take a wrong decision, say I'll kill you. So you have to pick one. What will you pick?
I mean,
I mean, sometimes there are. I mean, there are times like you have to pick the highly probable outcome, right? I mean, you have to make a decision. So, see, I have to take a decision. So I have to know whether life has a purpose or not, and
well,
so that is going to affect my decision. So I have to assume the most probable one, and so that's why I'm coming to the conclusion. I mean, yeah, is it making sense or not? I don't know. Like, if you have to pick one, I mean, you have to pick the most. I mean, which you think is most right, whether God exists or not. If I'm asking, which will you pick? Because 99% of, I mean, there is no evidence at all. So probably he's not going to be there. For probably 1% he can be there. So I will pick that God does not exist. How will you? I mean, what will you pick?
it depends on what you mean by God. Like, if you say, does the Christian God exist? I'd say there's more of a likelihood that the Christian God does not exist. If you say, is it possible that a deity who created the universe exists? I think it's a little more probable than not that there's something bigger than the universe. So, I mean, it depends. But regardless, I don't have to come to that conclusion, and neither do you. There's no reason why we have to have a conclusion on if there is a God or not. The correct answer with the information we have in front of us right now would be to say we don't have enough information to say. Sort of like you could say, have I don't. Here's a good one. The World Cup is going right now. We could say, has Brazil won the World Cup, or will Brazil win the World Cup? And the fact of the matter is, right now we don't know. I mean, there's a good probability. Brazil's probably the best of the teams remaining in the World Cup, but we don't know. And so it would be inaccurate to say, no, Brazil is not going to win the World Cup. We could say, I believe Brazil won't win the World Cup, or we could say, I believe Brazil will win the World Cup, but we can't say with any degree of certainty Brazil will win or Brazil won't win. The correct answer was simply to, for the moment, say, we aren't sure yet, but I kind of think Brazil's going to do it. That would be the correct answer. The same way that with human life, whether or not we have purpose or meaning, or with God, we can say the same thing. We can say, based on what we know right now, we don't have enough information to reach a conclusion on that.
Well, if I asked you to bet on one team, which is going to win the World Cup, on which team you will bet?
Right now, either Belgium or Brazil, but probably Brazil. I would say there's more of a probability with Brazil.
Yeah, because you pick the team which you think has a more probability to win the game, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes you have to take a decision based on the assumption, but the assumption doesn't necessarily have to be 100. I mean, you don't have to be 100% true. Even in math, the basic axioms, right? From the basic axioms, we are deriving the theorems. I mean, who knows the axioms are true? I mean, even I think they have changed some axioms after. I mean, after they fixed those axioms, I think some are changed after that. I mean, it's proved to be wrong, I guess. So uh, we don't know, we just assume it to be true. I mean, we have to take decisions today. We need some assumptions to make those decisions. So we have to make which assumption is highly probable, right? I mean, you have to know today that God exists or not. If he exists, I will go to temple and then pray God. If he didn't exist, I don't have to go to temple and pray God. So I have to make an assumption right now. I mean, highly probable assumption, or the best guess, educated guess, so that I can make my decisions. So I mean, it's not, I mean, nobody can say anything 100% certainly about, any subjective topics. Even this is way more subjective. You can't even predict a stock market, or you don't even know whether a tax cut decision by president is good or bad for the economy. You don't know. I mean, you have to see. But with the data you have to make a decision. And which will be better, like you pick Brazil because you think that has the highest probability to win. Likewise, I think this has a very high possibility, like we don't have a purpose, is highly probable. That is what is that's why I picked that. Am I making sense, or?
Yeah, no, I get what you're
Mm,
saying. Where I would disagree with you is that I don't think we have to make a decision on that.
oh,
There's no reason why we have to come to this conclusion when we don't have enough information to reach the conclusion yet. There's the most accurate position that we can hold is to say, you know what, right now I don't have enough information to say that. Let's talk about whether or not we have enough information with human life. In the example I gave of that Rick and Morty episode, where they were inside of another universe and the creator was from our universe, did those people inside of the smaller universe, did they have enough information to know their purpose?
they don't have.
Right, they don't. But they did have a purpose, and they didn't know that, but they did have one because a creature from outside of their universe had given them that purpose. Their God had given them that purpose. Now, we humans in our universe don't know if we have a purpose or not. And in the same way, it's just a thought experiment. If we were to be able to go outside of our universe and look in, we would then have the knowledge to say, hey, look, those humans actually do have a purpose. Or maybe, oh, no, they never had a purpose. They were just meaningless wastes of space. But as of right now, we aren't in a position to be able to say whether or not human life has a purpose. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Only an infinite being knows everything. But I guess this point can be applied to any topic. Take any debate, like abortion is good or bad. We don't know, right? Do we know for certain abortion is good or bad? I mean, do you have any take on that?
Well, to be honest, whether or not we know for certain is something we finite beings can't know anything with certainty, but we can show things to the greatest degree of human knowledge. And for instance, we can say that 2 and 2 are 4. To the greatest degree of human knowledge, we can say that. It's possible that our minds are being deceived by some infinite being to make us think that 2 and 2 are 4, when really they're not. But at least according to what we know as humans, 2 and 2 are 4.
Okay, so for you to make a decision for the topic like abortion is good or bad, you can say that you can objectively make a decision, like it's like 2 plus 2 equals 4. That is objective, like everyone accepts that, right? I mean,
Well,
you are saying that like that you can make a decision to that topic.
objective to the greatest degree of human certainty.
Interesting. So yeah, so again I see as the same. Here I'm being objective to the highest level of certainty, I mean degree of certainty possible, right? The same thing can apply. It seems to be apply here also. I think so. Do you think? I mean,
Well, I mean,
I'm being
you can, but what you're saying is that you then have to make a decision without the information. And what I'm saying is you don't have enough information yet to make a decision. Now here's the thing: we could make a decision on past World Cups. Like if I was to say the 2014 World Cup was won by Germany, to the highest degree of human certainty, I can say that that is an accurate statement because we had witnesses who were there, we have internet testimony, we have video evidence. To the highest degree possible as humans, we can verify that Germany did win that World Cup. But if we try and use that same knowledge to predict future World Cups, we could say Germany won the last World Cup, therefore they're going to win this World Cup, which obviously is not true. They just lost and they're out as of today. So we didn't have enough information going into this World Cup to say Germany is the winner or Germany will be the winner. We could say there's a high probability that the best team in the world, Germany, is going to win the World Cup. But just because there's a high probability doesn't mean it's accurate. Germany lost in the group stages and now they're
out. Okay. We don't know a lot of things, right? We don't know a lot of things. Yeah. But we are going out into the world and we are taking decisions based on what we think is will happen or based on our predictions, right? That is what, again, I think I'm repeating myself. We on a daily basis we have to take a decision. Okay, for example, just I'm asking, like some girl is coming to you and asking you whether she has to abort her child or not. What are you going to advise her? I mean, do you know for sure abortion is right or wrong, or you have a belief?
Many things would be based on belief. In that, for me, that question comes down to how developed the child is, whether or not the child has an ability to reason, whether or not it is thinking, whether or not it knows what will happen to it. Once it reaches that point, that being should be afforded the same protections as any other rational human creature. Before that point, it doesn't care. It doesn't have any thought process. So, but I mean, that's sort of a side point. You're asking me how we would come to knowledge and what we can know with things. And I would agree with you that there are things that we can have positions on and that we should have positions on. I'm not saying we should be agnostic about everything. All I'm saying is when we lack the capability to answer a question, like, for instance, whether or not human life has meaning, we should be willing to admit that and say we are not fully capable. We do have the ability to answer things to the highest degree of certain knowledge, human knowledge. And so abortion would be an issue that we could answer in that way, or taxes, or tariffs, or economic policy, or military policy. We can answer all these to human capabilities. But human capability itself isn't enough to answer the question of whether life has meaning, because we would have to be greater than the universe to answer that question. Does that make sense?
Yeah, to some extent, but I don't agree with that. Okay. You say that some topics like abortion is good or bad is coming under mostly our realm. We have more data about that, so we can come to a certain decision on those topics. And there are some topics we don't have, like we have very little data. With that, we can't come to a certain conclusion. That's what you're saying, right?
But we can't come to any conclusion, honestly, when it comes with this question.
Well, I would say that there are even more complex topics than I mean this. For example, economy is really complex. I mean, nobody can predict stock market, but still the president and people in the financial people are taking economic decisions that's going to affect economy. They are so not sure. They are just, based on their intuition, they are just predicting. I mean, most of the time, most of the things go wrong, like the 2008 depression. They really don't know, but they have to take a decision. They are taking a decision, and it is going wrong. So there are, I can say this is a pretty easy thing. I mean, the human life has purpose or meaning or not, it's not that much complex. I don't know any other example. It is I compare this to as a very easy topic, but we are still taking decisions and assuming, with the data we have, we are still taking decisions in those areas. Then I'm asking that why can't you make a decision on this one? I mean, you have to take one side so that you can act accordingly. I mean, you have to decide whether God exists or not, so that you can decide whether you have to go to church or not. I mean, pray God or not. I mean, read Bible or not. So without deciding on that, how will you go about that? Will you read Bible? I mean, will you read Bible or not? I mean, what are you going to do now? We have to take a decision based on the data we have.
Well, you don't have to. That's what you then choose to do. There's a difference between what you know versus what you then do. For instance, you could be an agnostic theist. In many ways, I consider myself an agnostic theist. I don't know if there is a God, but I choose to act as if there was some sort of deity looking down on me. I choose that. I don't know if there's actually a deity looking down on me, and I don't have to know. But I choose to live as if there was one, and that's a choice. And you talked about this too. You can choose to go and read your Bible. You could choose to live your life as if it has meaning, and that's sort of what I do too. I choose to live my life as if it has meaning, but that doesn't mean that it does have meaning, and it also doesn't mean that it doesn't have meaning. We don't have a way of answering that question, because in order to answer that question, you would have to be bigger than the universe. You would have to see the overall point to that universe. And we really can illustrate this simply by imagining that we create new universes, which is why I use the Rick and Morty example, or any other example. If we create a universe and we purpose, let's say we make a universe full of robots, and we make the robots do certain things, and we make them think certain ways. And we know exactly what their purpose is. Maybe their purpose is to make me laugh. I make a universe full of robots who make me laugh. That's their purpose in life. They don't know that, but I know that because I am greater than their universe. But if you asked any of those robots, what is your purpose in life? They'd be like, oh, my life has no purpose. Or maybe they'd say, my purpose is what I want it to be. But it doesn't matter what they answer because they don't have enough information to answer that question. In the same way, we humans, unless we were to be greater than our universe, don't have enough information to answer that question.
Okay. So yeah, again, that is what you're saying, that to answer this question, we need to have more information. So only that we can answer this question. And again, I see that we kind of have enough information as much as we have for the other topics, like some economic decision or the abortion decision. We nearly have enough decision in this topic also, because I can say, or even the okay, for in the case of God, you said you really don't know. Okay, so I can't really go to that. If you okay, what interesting. Okay, what do you what will you do if you say that you don't know the purpose? And so what will you do? I mean, what are you going to do? Okay, we don't know the purpose. What can we do? Because we don't know what we are destined to do. So what can we do? I mean, we have to take a decision, right? I have to do something now. I mean, so what should I do?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. And honestly, Siegfried answered this pretty well, I think, in my opinion. You can choose. You can say, I don't know if my life has any meaning, but I'm going to choose to do this thing because I enjoy it. You would do the same thing with economics. Nobody knows for certain what's going to happen with economics, but we do know that statistically, certain things work out better for the economy when they're more focused on. And they don't always work. Like you said, there's no certainty with it, but more often than not, it has benefits. And so you can focus on that data, you can focus on those statistics, and then you go off of that. You can do the same thing with your life. You can be like, I have observed that I enjoy playing soccer, so I'm going to pursue soccer and do more soccer. Or I have enjoyed playing chess, and so I'm going to try to become a chess grandmaster. Or I have enjoyed helping others, and so I want to, for my purpose in life, I'm going to decide to help as many people as I can. And whether or not that's actually the purpose that you were preordained, whether or not it was what you really just were required to do, you'll never know. You can't know that. But it doesn't matter because you have a choice, and you can choose to do it as you want. And there's nothing wrong with just choosing your own meaning for life.
Okay, so yeah, we can do like whatever we want. That's what you're saying. But at the same time, we should not do wrong things.
Well, you say wrong things, but wrong would have to be defined. We as humans, let me just start from myself, okay? So I want to live in a way that lets me pursue art, in a way that lets me watch sports. I enjoy each of these things. I would not appreciate it if I was murdered. I would not appreciate it if I was raped. I wouldn't appreciate it if someone came and tried to torture me or hurt me or any of these things. I can then talk to the person next to me. The person next to me will tell me all the same things. They don't want to be murdered. They don't want to be tortured. They don't even want to be raped, any of those sorts of things. And if we ask the majority of society, they'll all agree on the same sorts of things. So based on that, to get what we would desire, we create societal standards. And those societal standards are ways that we can then measure how to help each of us achieve the things we want to achieve. So when you say don't do wrong, that's how I would measure that.
Yeah, but okay, we have created some rules in our society for which we think will benefit everyone. But say someone who doesn't wanna comply to those rules. I mean, he doesn't he's not afraid that he'll be killed. So he's saying that he thinks that he is strong. So yeah, anyone can try to kill him, and he'll also try to kill others. Is that okay for is that okay for you? I mean, he will take that thing. Say I'm strong. Okay, I don't need to have to come to your society. I mean. I'm stronger. Nobody can kill me, and I will kill other people. Is that okay? I mean, can I take that stand?
Based on the fact that I personally would not prefer to be killed, and if I asked the majority of society, they would also agree that they would not prefer to be killed. We as a society choose to prevent that person from carrying out his desires for the betterment of what we all desire. And that's why societies throughout history go, hey, I don't like getting killed, so I'm going to make these rules.
Okay, I have some another interesting thing. Like, do you believe in deterministic universe, or like, do you think like we have free will and we can choose to do what we can do?
Again, honestly, we have no way of knowing that, because let's use another example of a fake universe. Let's say that I am an amazing inventor and I create a universe, and I make all of my creations inside of this universe think that everything they do is because of their own free will. But actually, I pre-planned it.
Okay, you cannot do that.
There's no way of knowing that. In the same way, if there's something out there that controls us, we have no way of knowing that. We have no way of knowing unless we were to become greater than our universe. There's no verification for it.
I mean, this is like, for me, you're disagreeing with like 1 + 1 = 2, because this is more certain. Everything has a cause and effect. Everything you see in the world is an effect, and it has a cause. Nothing we see, not even one thing we see, which doesn't have a cause. And still you're saying that you can't believe we don't have enough data. Then what more data do you want?
Yeah. Well, how do you view that data? What are the tools you use to see the cause and effect? You use your senses, right? Your senses and your logic. But what if your senses and your logic are totally wrong? You have no way of knowing that. Because what is the way of verifying that I can touch this? I feel my hands, right? But how do I know that some sort of demon didn't create me and make me think that this is touch, but in reality, I'm actually a potato somewhere else? I'm a potato on the planet Venus who thinks that I am a human being on Earth. And the demon made me think this, and he made me think that I have eyes, and he made me think that all these senses. I have no way of knowing that because I'm limited to using the senses I have. In the same way, if I created a universe full of robots and I made them think that they have senses, and that I could make them think that they are human beings on the planet Mars. I could make them think that. I could create a universe of robots and make them think that. And I can make them see what all the other humans on Mars. And I can make them smell other humans on Mars. And they would have no way of knowing that because they are limited to the information that they have in their world. Because of that limitation, a finite being cannot know whether it can't verify the things except to the greatest degree of robot certainty. So I'll finish this up pretty quickly. So you asked, how would I know things? How would that robot on that I have created a fake universe, made him think that he's a human on Mars? Well, that robot can't know for certain anything. But what that robot could do is it could know things to the greatest degree of certainty possible in that universe is what it could do. And in the same way, I can know things to the greatest degree of certainty possible as a human, but I must also recognize that what is possible to know as a human is limited.
Yeah, so you created those robots, right?
Mhm.
And you can make the robots think like what you want them to think. I mean, you can make them think that they are like yeah, you can make them think whatever you want them to think. Can
Mhm.
you make them think that 1 plus 1 equals 3?
Sure, why not?
Good. So what if we are made to think by someone that 1 plus 1 equals 2? What if really is anything plus anything equals 0? Or how do you know for sure? So yeah,
Yeah.
that is why I'm saying, if you bring this, we are uncertain about everything. If you bring that to the table, we can't really take any, I mean, we can't really talk about anything, right? Like, we can't take any decision, even in the abortion case, in economic, in anything we can't, because we are not 100% sure of anything. We don't know why we exist here. So what if the abortion matter or not? We don't know anything. If we take that, like, we don't know anything, we can't really do anything. We have to take a decision, like, assuming like we know something, and we have to take a decision. If you have to take a decision, which is we will take the most probable one. So with that context only we can talk, right? I mean, otherwise we don't know, like, really 1 plus 1, it cannot be equal to 2. We don't know. So if you take that, if you tell that point as like we don't know anything, really we don't know anything, and we can't talk about anything. Does it make sense to you?
Oh no, I absolutely agree with you. What I'm saying with that, it's a well-known philosophical problem that we are limited to the tools we have, and yet that doesn't get you anywhere. I mean, it doesn't really help you. We just have to be aware of the fact that when we say statements we claim to be conclusive, the vast majority of these conclusive statements really aren't conclusive because they're based on finite tools. They're based on the senses. They're based on the eyes, the ears, the mouth. And all of these senses are finite in and of themselves. But based on the finite senses, we can come to general answers about most things. So you talked about like abortion, logical things. We can come to those sorts of things to the best we can as humans. On this topic, the only way to answer this topic, the purpose of life, would be to actually see the purpose of life. Or to just have faith. Oh, I'm going to have faith that my life has meaning. Or I'm going to have faith that my life has no meaning. Those are really the only ways to answer it, unless you already had enough information to know. Which is why I say on this issue, you don't know. We should just admit the fact that we aren't capable of knowing because we aren't infinite.
Yeah. So this is good. So you're saying that, like, we have to. I mean, we don't know. We either have to just blindly believe that. I mean, I believe it to be true. I mean, that is the only step we can take. You're not, I mean, you think that we really don't have any data regarding this, but we have data regarding the other issues, like abortion issues or other issues. And I say that we have data, like, that is why I asked for, yeah, I brought up this topic about determinism, but that also, you said, doesn't come under like our certainty. We Yeah, like, okay, do you believe in, I mean, okay, do you, I'm not going to use the word believe. Do you think that something is true, like, atoms are made up of electrons, or E equals mc square? Do you think something that is true, that, yeah, it's true, like anything like this?
Yeah. There are definitely scientific principles that can be demonstrated to be accurate according to human knowledge. And it is possible, again, let's just come back to possible. It's possible that I'm a potato on Jupiter, and all of these things that I perceive about the scientific rules are just things that are being lied to me in my head. It's possible, and I can't disprove that. But as far as I can know, to a human perception, there are rules like gravity, and there are second law of thermodynamics. There are all these scientific principles. There's rules of mathematics and all these things. According to the human knowledge, these are actual rules.
So you brought up gravity. You brought up second law of thermodynamics, which I really like, second law of thermodynamics. And what causes gravity?
I'm not really sure.
like the mass causes gravity. Two masses attract each other. That's what we call gravity, right? So I
Sure.
mean, or according to Einstein, it dwarfs the space time something. But like we can say the mass causes gravity. And the other thing you said about second law of thermodynamics, which is about, okay, do you think there is cause for the second law of thermodynamics? Basically, it states that the entropy of universe is going to be increasing and increasing in the direction of time. Uh, so what I'm coming to say here is everything has a cause. I mean, you believed in gravity, you believed in second law of the thermodynamics. I mean, whatever you believe in, I'm just asking whether if it has a cause or not. And whoever the scientists who found that gravity or second law of thermodynamics believe that it has a cause or not, and they have stated the cause. Actually, they believe that it has a cause, and they have stated that cause, that is a cause for that. So so I'm gonna ask you that: do you believe in cause and effect? Finally,
According to human knowledge, yeah.
okay. According to human knowledge, so everything you see is it has some cause, right?
Yeah.
So can we say that it's all deterministic?
Um, no, that doesn't lead to the cause that you're saying. Um,
Okay.
well, how would you? Why would you say that that would mean? Therefore, it is determined.
Yeah, because this is okay. Whatever happened now is because of whatever the state of the universe is, the is yesterday. Like universe is like this yesterday, so that is why today is like today. So we can predict how will tomorrow look like. Does
Yeah,
it
but
make any sense?
yeah, but you can't take that to an extreme. You can't say, therefore, everything ever in this universe has always been this way, because it's entirely possible that something else started that process and said, now there's going to be cause. Before that thing started cause and effect, there wasn't cause and effect. You don't know. You have no way of knowing that. Uh, I mean, it's possible that there's always been cause and effect, but it's also possible that it was created.
Yeah, yeah. But this is more probable, right? That is what I'm coming to say, because we have to pick something that's probable, because you believed in gravity because that is probable. I mean, it seems like, okay, everything follows gravity. You see around us like moon, earth, and sun is, I mean, earth is rotating around sun, and every mass attack this, so probably there is gravity, that the mass has something which gives some force, that is the cause for the gravity. So that's how you can come to a conclusion. You really don't know anything, you really don't know gravity, it really exists or not. So
Well, no,
you really don't know anything. Yeah.
I do know gravity to 100% certainty as a human. According to everything humans know, there is 100% certainty that
Okay, okay,
I am
okay.
currently stuck to the earth, that I'm not floating in the earth. To the human knowledge, gravity is 100%. Um, but when we talk about the question of human life and purpose, that is a subjective determination. Because if there is an objective purpose to life, we would have to be big enough to see it. But we don't. Nobody has a claim to an objective knowledge of purpose. It's possible that there is an objective purpose, that we were created by something, or that in some way the universe has a purpose for our existence. But we can't know that because we are limited to the tools we have.
Hmm. Yeah, in that case you're saying that this is subjective, but if I try to okay, take that definition, I see gravity as subjective. That's how I feel, really. If you say that like things like these are subjective, like then I see gravity to be subjective, and 1 plus 1 2 equals 2 to be subjective. That's how I think. I'm really trying to come to your point of view, but I'm really not able to come to that side. Like how do you say? But if you say, yeah, I
Well,
don't know, like what.
here's the thing. According to human reasoning, we can't get
Mm,
around the fact that right now, if I
mm,
stand up, I'm not
mm.
floating in the air. I can't get around that. Um, and if you stand up, you won't float in the air. So, according to every tool we have available as humans, we know that there is gravity. And there is some tiny possibility, if all of our senses are wrong and have been fooled in some way, then maybe gravity doesn't exist. But according to what we have as humans, gravity does exist. Now, that's a different way of determining things than the question of meaning, because meaning is a subjective determinant. It's a human concept. Animals don't need meaning. They operate off of instinct. Humans desire meaning. Whether or not that meaning actually exists is something we don't actually know, and we have no way of knowing it. We have no way of verifying it. The only way you could verify that would be to be greater than the universe and be able to know, okay, yeah, that being has... We can know things in our universe, like gravity and like science and like logic. We can know those things, and mathematics. We can know all these things according to human knowledge. But human knowledge doesn't answer the question of whether or not we have meaning, because we either create it for ourselves or we just believe in it, neither of which is objective in any way.
Okay. Do you think like anything has a purpose? Like, but you will not be sure, right? Like animals have a purpose or non-living things have a purpose. You're not sure about those things also. I mean, this is in question about only human for you, or is this in question for animals or and non-living things also for you? I mean, you're not sure whether the purpose or meaning is there for either human, animals, and non-living things also.
Well, anything can have a subjective purpose. If I choose to have a purpose, well, that's going to be my purpose because I chose it. But I think we're talking about an objective purpose, something greater than us that drives us. And honestly, on that, I don't know. I have no way of knowing, and I don't think any finite being has a way of knowing if there is something greater than us that is necessarily leading us towards something. In the same way that those robots and that robots who I create would have no way of knowing if they have a purpose. There is something that I can say would have a purpose. If I create something and I purpose it, I know it has a purpose because I gave it that purpose. But otherwise, unless I am infinite, unless I am greater than the thing that I am judging, I don't have a way of knowing if it has purpose or not.
Yeah, even if you create something that has a purpose, but only if you have a purpose, you have a purpose to create that thing with some purpose. If you yourself have no purpose, then even you create something, some robots is just just one of the randomness that doesn't have any purpose that I can say. Or I really don't know how to take this conversation because
well, that would be subjective though. For instance, let's say that I create a robot and I give it a purpose of blowing itself up. That's its purpose in life. But you're saying that would be my purpose, to have created that robot to blow itself up. But no, that would be a subjective purpose I might have chosen for myself to create this robot. But maybe there's something bigger than me that made me, and my purpose is actually to go fart on everyone in the world. And I haven't done it, so I'm failing my purpose. But I have no way of knowing that because I'm not infinite. When it comes to the question of an objective purpose, the only way to know that would be to be greater than the universe that you're inside of. A subjective purpose, we can know that. An objective one, we aren't great enough to know that.
Yeah, that is what I'm again disagreeing there, because to be objective on anything, we can't be really, according to your definition, we can't be like objective on anything. Yeah, like yeah, again again I have to repeat myself, like with your definition, like I think that we have enough data to determine that, because even for gravity we only had enough data. We have like what, eyes and only these senses. Maybe the aliens have like different very big senses, and that infinite being have like a very big sense, so that it can make sense of everything. We have a very little sense, and that little data is enough for you to say that gravity is true, it's subjective. And I'm saying that we have that little data to determine that we have a purpose or meaning, and you're disagreeing to that, and I don't know how to like say anything about that. Well, in that case, yeah, I have to again say, in that case, you can't be. I mean, gravity is like you cannot say gravity exists, because you just have these 5 senses. How can you be sure? Like it can be like 1% true, 99%. There should be something. God is pulling everything with a thread or something like that. you can't be at all sure. Like that's what I can say, because we have very limited knowledge, right? Because with that limited knowledge only we are talking about everything. So